Okay.
Yay.
Okay. Every time I hear that song, I get excited.
I love it. I love it too. It really gets me going. But Tara, today we have a great presenter. But you know what? Before we get into it, why don't you do the intro? I always do this, guys. I always go to first.
Marilyn gets so excited.
Yeah,
She acts like she ain't seen y'all in years. We just did this a
hello.
month ago. So, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Solo CEOs. It's our Guru Talks. I am Tara Winston, and you are who?
I am Marilyn Excited Johnson. Always excited. Always.
Marilyn Jump the Gum Johnson.
I do.
And welcome to the Solo CEOs. If you are new here, we are a community that provides resources, support, and a hell of a lot of fun for people who are building businesses on their own. And we do this every once in a while. But what Marilyn and I realized is that there's so much information out there for people who are building massive empires. But for those of us who have serious businesses that we're running by ourselves, we need to scale the information we get so it can be relevant to us. And that's why Marilyn and I are so
Yes.
excited about the conversation we're having today. We are talking about artificial intelligence. It is the thing on everyone's lips. We can't get away from it. The places we don't even want it is showing up. And the thing that keeps coming to me and to my community of solopreneurs is all that hype is great. What is it that I need? Cut to the chase that can be helpful for my business, and everything else, leave it up to all the other people.
Yeah, you know what, Tara? What I'm hearing a lot of is fear. It's just like people don't know how to start, what to do, how to just implement it in their businesses. And today, our presenter, Andy Crestodina, is going to share a lot of good information with you in hopes that as you grow, you'll understand and become more comfortable with using AI because it's not going away. It just really is not going away. And as solopreneurs, we can create something just amazing by using it. So, Tara, talk to our audience a little bit more.
Well, no, wait a minute. All I have left is got my pen and my notepad.
Yes.
I need Andy to get to talking because I cannot wait.
Yeah. So, Andy, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm excited about this. I love the topic. And I like how you framed it. I mean, I think there's a lot of fear. It's triggering. There's a lot of anxiety. I think that there's it's a long list, right? Labor market impact, accuracy, bias. There's all kinds, disruption, AI safety. You don't hear safety combined with other technologies much. You're like, so, but I'm thrilled to share the things that I've learned and a very practical approach. It's kind of marketing focused, but I think everyone will get the sense for how you could use it for so many things.
Right. Andy, before we go into a lot of detail, I think it's really important for people to really understand how we know you. I've known Andy for, oh my goodness, how many years now? Oh, like 15?
Yeah, it goes way. I mean, I had my 52nd birthday last week.
Well,
you met me when I was like a kid. Yeah, that was back in the day. Like I was so young in my career in digital. I think I've done this for 24 years, 23, 24 years. So yeah, you and I met in some great programs you were running way back in the day.
Right. And so for everybody, Andy is the co-founder and CMO of Orbit Media. He does all kinds of presentations, as well as he has a newsletter that I strongly suggest you go to his website, orbitmedia.com, and sign up. Every week almost, he gives great information. The website is there. He has a blog. He's written a book. But what's funny is, even before all of that, I have to tell a secret. I actually stalked Andy. He was doing a presentation, and I was listening. You know how you listen to someone and you go, oh, this guy is really, or this lady is really, really on top of their stuff. And so after the presentation, he had like a line of people waiting, asking crazy questions. Of course, I had some too. And I just sat in the back and waited until everybody left. And then I snuck up to him and I said, hey, Andy. And that was the beginning of me calling him every time I have anything technical, any kind of marketing content question. And so when AI started bubbling up and people started asking Tara and I, how are you using this? The first person I thought to call was Andy Crestodina. His bio is amazing. You can find his bio not only on our website at the Solo CEOs, you can also find it on his website. But with all of that said, I think we should just jump into it.
Sounds
And
great.
great. And listen, as he's going on, if you have questions, please put them in the chat and we will talk through those, try and answer your questions. And then even if you are like me, where you have questions afterwards, send them to us and we will share them with him as well.
Marilyn, Tara, let's do this. I'm going to share my screen. I have quite a few things here. We're gonna cruise through a lot of use cases, and if it seems a bit overwhelming, just keep in mind that we're sharing the slides, and we're recording, so you can kind of rewind and watch it in slow motion anytime. So, solo CEOs, I mean, there's a big mix of skills here and focuses, and some people might be more marketing focused or sales focused or operations. So one of the ways that we try to make sure everyone gets value is to just kind of back up the truck and give you a lot, but it's recorded. So if at any point you're worried about, am I getting all this? Just sit back and just see what's possible, and knowing that you can always, that we'll share the prompts. We're going to share all the techniques, of course, and I can make myself available anytime afterwards. Okay, I have been in digital for definitely 24 years in digital, going back for the year prior to we started this company. So I've done 24 years of SEO and of analytics, and I've done maybe 15 or so, 16 years in content marketing, content strategy, social media, influencer marketing, email marketing, and 15 months in AI. What I love about this tool is that, and there's research on this, it's actually a skills leveler. You don't need, all of us have skills gaps and blind spots, and I've got big ones. I don't know anything about Facebook or paid marketing or lots of things. But what AI can do is to make me better at those these faster by using prompts that are shared by experts or talking to the tools. And similar to that, hopefully this deck and these methods make you better faster by just taking these methods and these prompts and using them in your business, or translating how they work into your business. So AI is proven through research to turn the less experience, it's an even greater benefit for the people with lower levels of experience than it is for people that have been doing it a long time. I'm going to use a sample business because I have to use something. And I've chosen a spacecraft, like a space launch services company. I don't just brand. And in this case, in our little scenario here, like I'm a B2B brand and I'm targeting commercial satellite operators, people who need to put satellites into space. That's actually the website and the real site. Now, I'm arguing first against, and I'm going to show mostly marketing context again, but we can adapt this however. I'm going to start by making the case against the lazy prompt. Write me 10 headlines about launching satellites, which it does. But very that's going to be very successful for me because they're just general, right? It doesn't, all I gave it was launching satellites with 2 words indicating the topic. Or how about this one? Write an article about satellite launch best practices. That's another lazy prompt. And what it gives you back is just not differentiated. It's not that targeted. It's not really focused on my specific audience because it doesn't really know my specific audience. I joke, if this is how you're using it, AI might as well stand for average information, because that's what it is. It ingested the internet, the so-called common crawl, estimated to be about 85% of the internet, and comes back and summarizes what it found. That's it. Is that what we're doing here? It's not very impactful. It's yet trained on our audience. It tastes like water. What does work is if we first train it on the audience and then ask it for information, ask it for help, ask it for ideas and advice. So I'm going to begin my little exercise here with a persona prompt. If you've gone up enough in that kind of marketing maturity scale and you've got documented ideal profiles or audience research or personas, and you can upload those, great. That you got the battle tested persona, it's already ready to go. If you don't, and true confession, I did not have documented ideal client profiles until about 4 months ago, 20 plus years. And I finally documented the details of my audience's needs. Yep. But, it is what it is. So you don't have to have that. You can just persona prompt. I'm going to go through this. It's actually kind of a template, and you'll see how I'll break it down. Build me a persona of a job title, commercial satellite operator, at an industry and company size, billion-dollar global telecom. It's kind of a mid-sized global telecom, responsible for planning launch missions. These are their challenges. This is their job. And they have certain needs and requirements. They need help deploying commercial satellites. They're considering a company like mine. I want 4 things. I want their hopes and dreams. I want their fears and concerns. I want their emotional triggers for deciding who to hire. And I want their decision criteria for contacting a company like mine, a spaceport, we'll say, a space launch services company. It comes back with a persona. I don't trust this, and you shouldn't trust this, and none of us should trust AI because it might be totally wrong, or it might not be specific enough to who we target. I showed this to a true persona expert, Ardith Albee, and I'm like, Ardith, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and she watched me do this exact process, and then she started talking, and I started typing. Andy, do you really know that that's accurate? You didn't validate that. Go check that with your customers before you use it. I don't trust it. Thank you, Ardith. I don't trust it either. Don't trust AI, trust yourself. Here I joke, AI might as well stand for assuming correct. We should assume it's incorrect. We should always look carefully at it. We should always edit its responses. We should always validate whatever it gives us because it doesn't have our experience. It's never talked to our clients. It doesn't know specifically, so trust yourself. In this case, even with 5 minutes of research, I quickly learned that commercial satellite operators care about risk. They care about insurance. They're trusting you with a $1 million satellite. You're putting it on a rocket, and they care if it blows up. So you tell the AI what it missed, improve it, work on it. It's called ChatGPT because we're going to have a conversation with it. Now, something magical happens because once you've trained the AI on your target audience, it's sort of just amazingly useful. You can ask it anything day or night. What information could I publish that would help you do your job? What social media posts are you likely to click on? What information are you likely to search for? What research studies could I publish that would help you support your current initiatives? What do you hate about looking for companies like mine? It is so fun. It's that you don't have to schedule stakeholder interviews or set, organize calls or be polite on the phone. You can ask it anything. How much money would you spend? Why wouldn't you hire me? Who else is involved in the decision-making process? What's the most boring thing in my proposal? Here's a proposal. How, it is almost the best thing about AI so far. For me, one of the top 3 for sure, is to have built a little version of my audience that I can talk to about anything. That if we stopped right there, I think that would maybe be useful to you. So that's the persona prompt. Once you have it and it works, you like it, we're small brands here, so you may not need to share it with your team or make it a PDF or send it to your agency. Just if you're just a solopreneur, you just put it in there, just save it. I'm using ChatGPT here, by the way. I'm not using fancy tools. I'm not recommending these $500 or $1,000 a month AI services. I'm just using I'm using ChatGPT Plus, which is $20 a month, but I'm keeping this generic. Use whatever tool you'd like, but ideally we can save that persona because we want to come back to it. Everything else you see me do is in that conversation. I do not want to talk to AI unless I first train it on my audience. Now I can do topic research. Now I can do brainstorming. Now I can generate ideas, which, by the way, is the #1 use for AI in marketing. This is our survey. Every year we do a survey. I'm a big proponent of original research. Publish a piece of research. It's very effective. This one is a big job because I have to get 1,000 people to answer my questions. But the insights are interesting. I can find it. 43% of the marketers who using AI are using it for idea generation. Only 3% in my survey, this was last fall, are using it to write complete drafts. Okay, My next step is to talk to it about my audience's information needs, right? Hey, you're a skilled expert content strategist. You're good at selecting topics that build awareness, that build trust with an audience. What information does my persona, my commercial satellite operator, to do their job? It comes back and you could talk about it back and forth. They care about this. Strategies for backup and recovery, the failed launches, you care about that? Good to know. Now I'm going to ask it for topics. Suggest 10 articles on the following topic. You see how I filtered through all the stuff and then chose one that maybe aligns well with my value proposition, aligns well with my brand values, aligns well with just things I'm passionate about and want to talk about and have great answers for, aligns well with the things that are aha moments when I explain them to my audience, my prospects, my team. So now I ask, give me 10 articles on this topic. They will capture the interest of the persona and they'll provide practical utility, make them compelling, make them memorable. I love those words, but you can choose whatever words you like. Make them inspirational, make them surprising, make them unexpected, make them useful, utility, whatever the case, right? This is your content strategy or what your values. I think memorable is good though, because we want to stay top of mind in the end. And then I just copy and paste in information need that I learned from the previous prompt. So when I get back, looks pretty good to me, right? This is like bridging. I like the second one, bridging communication gaps, ensuring seamless team communication during launches. If I write that article and I share it with a prospect in my sales funnel, they can tell immediately that I care about this, that I have a perspective, that I have experience. These are things that will build trust. Little brands like us, we don't just need marketing, we need sales, and content has sales benefits. So I want to highlight that here for this group because I don't need 10 million visitors, right? I need 10 clients. I need to close some deals. So the sales enablement content, they call it sometimes, is likely the highest value content, and you can absolutely use ChatGPT to help you, think through the early stages, the ideation for that. And if you don't like it, so what? Let's say 8 of these are garbage and 2 of them are good. So what? That's great. That's a win, right? Here I joke, AI might as well stand for another input. That's all it is. It's a perspective. It's a help. It's a tool. Is it useful? That's up to you. I don't look at it and say, that first answer it gave me was bad. Closing this tab, I'm done. I don't want this tool. No, it's like any tool. You don't always need it, and it doesn't do everything, but it does a few things very well. So I'm going to scan through and find value and take value from it. Maybe that's obvious, but I mean people who are quite dismissive of ChatGPT. They tried it a couple of times. Things that it gave them back they didn't find useful. Weren't chatting with it yet though. So keep going, and it's a sequence of prompts. It's not the lazy prompt. It's a sequence where you tend to get value. Train it. Give it, work on it, use the persona prompt to get the persona and then talk to it. What do you need? What do you hate? What do you love? What do you care about? What do you click on? What do you and then move toward topics and ideation. For the record, you're not really going to see me write anything with AI here mostly. I prefer to do the writing myself. And I think some things AI just could never write, such as points of view, opinion, taking a stand. You'll see, I'll show you basics of how to use it for writing, but I don't think that's its best application. I think it's this type of research assistance is just priceless to me. Now, I'm going to use it to create an email sign-up call to action. But to do that, I have to first create a content mission statement. In marketing, the content mission statement is the kind of declaration of your topics. This is what we publish. Brands that do it are 3 times more likely to succeed than brands that don't. Document that little content mission statement. This is the survey every year, B2B content marketing survey. It's always the same results. But most brands have never done that. Only 28% of us have ever documented that content mission statement. It's actually simple and sort of fun to do, and I do it for fun with friends. Content is where what audience gets what information, and why the heck should they care? So audience X, information Y, and for benefit Z. That's a content mission statement. You don't really need, if you know what you talk about, what you love, who you're talking to, this may be obvious. I would still write it down. But AI is quite good at writing a draft for you. Here's my a prompt to create a content marketing mission statement, again, in the conversation. And I'm going to first tell it what I'm really looking for. A content marketing mission statement has 3 elements: the target audience, the topics, the benefit to the reader. It should be concise, and it should be adaptable into a call to action to subscribe to a newsletter. Craft a draft mission statement for this persona based on their needs, and then create 3 examples of newsletter sign-up CTAs adapting that mission statement. My best practices for what a mission statement is. My draft, I'm looking for a draft of it based on my persona. This is not in a vacuum. And then here's the output. I want to use it for email sign-up. What it comes back with, I really like: empowering commercial satellite operators with expert insights on launch risks, tech innovation, and best practices to ensure informed decisions and successful missions. That's actually pretty solid. It's impressive sometimes, right? Wow, you kind of nailed it. But that's because I taught it about the audience first. Right? Garbage in, garbage out. I have a strong, vetted, qualified persona. All the responses now are much better. That never would have worked had I not trained it on the persona first. Newsletter sign-up CTAs have highlighted one: stay ahead with latest insights, launch risks, trends, and best practices. Subscribe now. That's really better. I think that's good. That's better than a lot of the CTAs for subscription you see on the web. Look at this one. Stay up to date. What? Huh? Why would anybody do that? Now, little brands, it's really more about quality than quantity. And I don't care. I talked to a woman this morning who has 75 subscribers. She's a solo CEO. She only needs 1 customer a month would be a lot. So we're not playing a numbers game here. We're trying to connect with people on a real level. And anyone that got value from that thing you made, if you have a reason to subscribe to get the next one, you're starting a relationship that makes Google and LinkedIn irrelevant. They give you their email address. You don't need it to connect through an algorithm. You can talk to them directly. So I'm a big fan of email because it's sort of disintermediation. I don't need search engines or social media networks to connect. And I don't need that many brands or people to connect with, right? If I'm a small brand, it's really, being good at relationships is worth 100 times being good at algorithms, of course, right? Thought leadership. I've got a perspective on this. There is research that shows that leadership is in fact the type of content that's more likely to perform. There's research. Steve Rayson analyzed 1 million articles and came back with this. Literally a million articles. He scraped the web. He's like a statistician. He founded BuzzSumo, which is like a data platform for what gets traction where. If you want to achieve a content that achieves a high level of both shares and links, then you should concentrate on opinion-forming authoritative content or well-researched and evidenced content, as in strong opinion and original research. I'm going to focus on strong opinion because it's a competitive advantage that little brands have. A solo CEO, it doesn't need to have talk to their communications committee to decide what to publish, you have a point of view you can share right now. You believe that something's good, something's bad, we should do this, we should stop doing that. The personal brand has 10x value and utility when you're small. Big companies have this, they're sort of faceless, right? This is the equalizer. Your view, perspective, opinions, insights, you can share specifically with the right person and trigger a response and build a relationship and start a conversation. The Fortune 500s, no one cares. They're afraid to have that point of view, right? So this is good for you and I. I'm excited about this for you. I'll give you a quick example. Thought leadership does not have to be about geopolitics or social justice. In each category, there's all kinds of things that people care about. And your job is to start a conversation and to engage and be member of a small group, right? Your niche. Niche down. The narrower your niche, the faster you'll grow. We're not trying to connect with everybody. We want to connect with the people who need us and care about what we care about. So I'm talking about websites. That's what we do. We build and optimize websites. And I've got strong views on what's good and bad on websites. I make a list of things I think should be removed from websites. And I'm deliberately being a little bit provocative here. Press releases do not belong on websites. They don't align at all with digital content best practices. At the top, they say for immediate release. What? Why do you write that on anything on a website? What, does a visitor wondered if they're supposed to read it now? That's absurd. Or they have that tiny about us text at the bottom. Like, that's far weaker than your about page. Why did you? I just think press releases are not good web content. I also think that PDFs are overused. People upload PDFs because their site's hard to update, right? PDFs are like the Rust of the internet. Everything that's a PDF should also be a detailed HTML web page that Google can read. PDFs are not SEO best practices. It's kind of an alternate version. Blogs on articles. I don't think you should put blogs on articles. If you've got an evergreen content program where your content tends to stay relevant for longer periods, the blog just makes it, the date just makes it look faster. Okay. I could argue the other side on many of these too, but I'm trying to give my audience something to talk about, a perspective, and I'm going to stand a little bit here. So, and then I've got a video down there. Okay. This video is actually hosted on YouTube and embedded here. On YouTube, here I am taking a stand about things you should remove from a website, including dates, and they are triggered. My audience cared a lot. They have strong opinions, and that was the job, right? I think that's the definition of thought leadership. Your job as a thought leader is to create tension. It's about making assertions. You have to be willing to be wrong. If Peter can't disagree with the article, then it's not thought leadership, which is fine. Most of my articles are not. I'm not a thought leader. I'm a teacher, right? Most of my articles, and Marilyn's probably seen a bunch, right? Or anyone on LinkedIn or on my blog, it's like how-to stuff. Right now, I'm doing how-to stuff, right? This is not mostly me like taking a stand, but truth leadership does trigger that response, and that example I gave does kind of get closer to it. And the comments on YouTube are crazy. This guy's he writes hate in capital letters. That mad cat, cool, sleazy, and untrustworthy. This guy said I'm making low information blogs. My beautiful health won't even watch the video. She read the article and said, "No, this is terrible advice." I was just before she even read it. Like, I'm not really discouraged. I mean, this is. I was purposely doing this, and there are positive responses, right? This person here says, "How much value can you smash into one video?" You know, this person's got a lot of happy emojis for me. This person thinks I look like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. This guy thinks I dye my hair. I don't dye my hair. Who are these people? YouTube comments. What a mess. That's why I love LinkedIn, right? You have to have a name, like it's connected to identity. I think that keeps us all, we're all sort of better internet citizens if you have to, if you really kind of sign your name to a thing. Okay, time out. This is what happened next. YouTube showed that video to 170,000 people. That's 100 times my normal performance. Why? Because of the engagement, right? So this does have, I'm not really trying to be, YouTube famous here. That doesn't actually affect my brand. I'm only showing this because it's common to say, how can I get traction in social? Well, you need content that's engaging. How do you produce content that's engaging? Well, you need to talk about things that people care about and react to, which is something specific and only possible for a human. ChatGPT can't throw a punch. Only you can. ChatGPT has no life experience. It has no perspective. It has no opinion. It can't do these things, but it really can help you find provocative topics. Very well. So here's my provocative but mundane topic prompt. What are some relevant and almost trivial space industry topics that professionals have very strong opinions about? Well, units of measurement and scale versus metric, naming conventions, the names of spacecraft and celestial bodies, rocket design. No doubt these are going to trigger, my audience is going to have a field day, right? They're all going to talk about these things. So AI is not good for, it's literally impossible for AI to write op-ed, strong opinion piece, take a stand, draw a line in the sand. But it's very good at helping you find those topics. Try these prompts. What questions are people in my industry afraid to answer? Okay. Radioactive, you don't want to go there, don't go there, that's fine. Again, it's just another input. You can choose your own adventure. What false things do people in my industry believe true? If you can bust a myth, that's going to be for your engagement, for your marketing, for memorability, to stay top of mind. What are the most common assertions that are least likely to be supported by evidence? Research piece, help them do their day, right? Support their current initiatives. What important topics in my industry are the least likely to be covered by the big blogs. One is special because it's literally impossible for a human to read every article in a vertical and tell you what's missing. Human brains are sort of bad at gap analysis. It takes a lot of experience to look at a thing and say what's not there, what's missing, right? The Daniel Kahneman, who wrote the book Thinking Fast and Slow, said, what you see is all there is. That's important in the marketing context for several reasons. But here I'm pointing it out because AI can quickly find gaps for you in many ways. I'll show you some in a minute. But here I'm using it to find gaps in the internet, in the broader context, in the body of work in my whole article. Humans can't really do that, right? This is an AI only method. What counter narratives are the least likely to be discussed by bloggers and thought leaders? Counter narratives, so interesting. Just put these in ChatGPT, the free version. It's interesting, right? So here I am. I'm asking it to find common assertions, to find counter narratives, and it comes back and finds some. Space is the exaggeration, technology overreach, military uses are downplayed, space law. Wow, I don't know anything about this stuff, but these are things that are sort of missing from the web, and I could address if I have a point of view. Some of these I maybe don't care about at all. Next, I'm going to get closer now. I'm getting closer to writing an article, to publishing a piece, or taking a stand by asking it next for the outline. You're an expert content strategist. You're skilled in writing memorable articles that delight people like commercial satellite operators. Write an outline for the article following topic, and I paste that in there, right? The name of my topic, which I did already, you saw me do, bridge communication gaps. I also asked specifically for it to allow for me to include assertions that lack evidence, if I can find any, or to discuss counter narratives if they're relevant. So I want to leave room in this piece to make it stronger, and I give it the headline for the article. And in the end, here it comes. This is the outline for an article that has a place to debunk myths. That is where it suggests including case studies. It's the outline. Is it good? Maybe. If not, improve it. If it's garbage, do it by hand, right? This is, I'm not ever suggesting that we abdicate our job. Mostly what I'm suggesting here is taking a thoughtful, iterative approach. In iterative, where you keep building up this piece that you're working on. You're really collaborating with ChatGPT and doing it together. I am going to show you now how to create a draft of an article. I'm going to do it using a custom GPT. This will feel a little fancy. It's not that fancy, but you do need the paid version of ChatGPT. You go to Explore GPTs, click there, and this is where you're going to create a custom GPT. You go to the Configure tab, and you tell it about your style. You go down to knowledge, and you upload a bunch of your writing. Now it is trained on you. So in the beginning, I trained it on my target audience. Now I'm training it on me. And I'm going to use this separately from that one, right? It's not my synthetic version of my persona. But if I take that outline it gave me and use and have it go farther and create a first draft based on my previous writing, the results will be better. It'll be more on point, right? It's in that overlap, right? The audience cares about it. I confirmed that. And it's in my style. I confirmed that. That's what content marketing is, that overlap between your brand and topics and their information needs. Where those two things intersect is where we can succeed. So you make that, you save it. There's mine. It's called Copy Helper. Click that, open it. And now, because it has all this writing samples, I'm going to upload the persona. I always wanted to know who I'm talking to. Here I just made it a PDF and I'm uploading it. Then I'm telling it to write an article based on the following outline. Use the voice, tone, and style found in your knowledge sources. I uploaded 100 articles to this guy. Very time consuming. I don't have any shortcuts for you. These things take time. But what it comes back with, it's not terrible. This isn't my passion in AI. I like AI as a research tool. I like to use it to better understand my audience or to find gaps in things. But there you go. Persona to needs, to topics, to counter narratives, to the outline, to the first draft. Much more involved than the lazy prompt, but the results are so much better. If it wasn't, you keep editing it, keep working with it, just like you would with a very a very precocious intern, a very ambitious helper, right? That's kind of what it's like. It's like this overeager assistant. Expand on the sections, add detail, use shorter words, remove the jargon. Where did I look to input to add my own data and examples, suggest examples? Where should I add my own visuals, suggest visuals, right? I'm talking to it about this piece, building it up. Who else should I include? Suggest subject matter experts. These are things that I would that you always have to do, by the way, right? Whatever it does, even if you loved it, let's say it nailed it, very unlikely. Let's say it nailed it. You'd still have to do what? Add your visuals, add contributor quotes from experts, add your own specific examples, add your own supportive data, add links to your other content, and strengthen the language and make it from you, right? My friend Jay Akunzo says, AIs and humans both are built on LLM foundations. AIs are built on large language models. Humans are built on little life moments. So when you incorporate those little life moments with that personal point of view piece, it just makes it more compelling. Makes it more
Andy,
Marilyn.
I get a chance to use my voice of the goddess. The question I have is from Latoya, where she asks, she's heard people use ChatGPT. Let's see, with creating logos. Have you used that? Have you used it for that?
Not very diligently. I don't think. I mean, if you try that, a logo especially is just not that likely to come out. It's such a long shot. I call them long shot prompts. Like you throw in a thing like, give me an unexpected. You just like see what you get. Ask it for unexpected things or weird. Give me 10 weird ideas for closing deals for whatever it is. Those long shot prompts. Every time I prompted the image generators, it feels like a long shot prompt.
Okay.
You really aren't. You can't give it the level of detail that you would. You try like, okay, here are my exact colors. Here's the feeling. But even to get it to a white background, it just starts drawing too much. We might not get to it, but at the end of this deck, I do a little bit of play with image generation. Another thing is, legally, you can't copyright anything that comes out of AI unless you work on it, because the threshold for legal copyrightability is substantial human involvement. Okay. If AI made you a logo, I'm not sure that you could legally protect.
Okay, that's important. And then another question was, do you recommend we use the paid version of ChatGPT?
Yeah, I do, and I've got a little example in here. I'll jump ahead to this. If I have a big piece like a transcript, podcast, the guy, my friend wants me to share it. The best way to share this podcast is by putting a compelling soundbite into a social media post. How do I get that? Well, I go to the video, I download the transcript, I copy the transcript into a text file, I upload it to ChatGPT, and I say, which statements in this video are people most likely to be surprised by? But for me to upload 10,000 words from a conversation, I need to have the paid version of ChatGPT. Now, that costs $20 a month. This shows two things that cost $20 a month, or $20. The ChatGPT Plus account, which is, they spent $500 million on just last year making it smarter, or a fancy cocktail from the tasting room down the block, which is 2 ounces of rye and some Angostura bitters and a splash of rosehip liqueur. I'm going to argue that a ChatGPT account is more valuable than the cocktail.
Wow.
Have one less drink a month, and by I can do many things. It's just, is this really? I mean, this is the most powerful, useful technology ever devised by man. Is this really the place to save $20? I think it's weird. People are, of all the things that you spend money on, I don't think it's a good one to try to save money.
This is amazing. We have another question about any recommendations around security and how much or how little should we share. And I know that that has been a concern for people, especially when you just use the example of teaching chat how your voice, and
Mhm.
people are kind of nervous about it.
Yeah. Well, when I uploaded all my articles to teach it my voice, I was giving it something that is available publicly anyway.
Okay.
If I write a persona prompt to understand my target audience, and then give it my homepage and say what's missing, which I can walk through. There's a method for that. I have the prompts. I'm giving it something already anyway. Where security and data privacy come into play usually is where you have PII, personally identifiable information, people who say, oh, I'll just go to my database and upload all of my contacts and have it, who should I, put these into, segment these into groups, tell me how to contact this group, write a sales email for these people that have this in common. There's clever ways to use it with things like CRM data, but I don't think it's generally not a good idea to upload anything that's private and personal, personally identifiable to the internet at all. The fear is that it will have that long-term memory will make that content available, make your data available to other people. Someone else talk to AI about your brand and your target audience, and that it would respond at because you gave AI that. In my experience, AI has terrible long-term memory. I don't upload my clients' data ever. We would have to talk about it first. But my own data, I really don't care. And I could show you methods where I export data from Google Analytics and give it to AI to find insights. Great. Am I worried that someone else can talk to AI about my analytics? I'm not. If I go make a sandwich and come back, it'll forget about. I mean, it has very short-term memory, so no, I'm not worried about it. But you still must check your client agreement, your legal language, and never ever upload anybody's financial data or health information. But so far, all the methods I've used, I'm really just, except me telling it about my persona, I haven't given it anything that wasn't available publicly.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Another question we had is, what should you be aware of when it comes to bias when using AI generated content?
Well, if you want to see AI bias, just just use the image generators, right?
Oh gosh.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, immediately, right? It's like, make me a picture of a kindergarten teacher, white woman. Make me a picture of a company president, old white man. It was trained on the internet, and the internet is filled with bias. So there should be no surprise that it's biased. It's obvious. It'd be weird if it wasn't. But my method, the things that I've gone through here, it's like, I'm doing research. What does this person care about? What are some interesting topics? What might start a conversation? I'm not concerned about bias using the methods I've shown so far, because it's a point of view. I can decide what I liked and didn't like about it, and then go take an action separate from AI. So as a research assistant, it really, you avoid a lot of the major concerns about bias. I think that there's uses for AI where it should just never be used. Like HR, like if you give HR if you give an AI 500 resumes and have it kind of pre-qualify people, I think there's terrible stories about that. That's a high stakes environment where a recruiter abdicated their job by doing something at scale using a tool that has bias built in, AI. But for ideation, content, marketing, identifying topics, I'm deliberately using methods for which bias is far less of a concern. Hopefully.
Okay. Great. And I didn't want to throw you off track, so we'll keep going, and then I have a couple more questions.
Sure. And we can make this more conversational. Let me do one more, and then we'll just keep talking, because I like this better anyway, Marilyn. We don't get to hang out enough, so that's more fun for me. I'm going to move away from the top of funnel marketing, becoming to the bottom of funnel marketing, generating leads, by focusing on a review of your sales pages. This should be 100% relevant to all of us, even if you never publish articles at all. No newsletter, no blog, no social media, no search rankings. This should still matter though, because if you have a website, if with even one visitor, this will make a difference. I've got a page from that company. It's one of their service pages. It's very thin content, 250 words. The headers are vague. It doesn't rank high. It lacks any supportive evidence. So here's my prompt. Review the following web page. How does it align and not align with my persona's information needs? Just copy and paste in the page. It comes back and AI will basically tell you it will list the ways in which your page was unsatisfying for your audience. I think we should all do this. I think you should do it today. If you identify important unanswered questions on your homepage, this is the state of modern marketing. People don't want to talk to a rep before they make a decision. They're to get all their information to qualify or disqualify you before they reach out. So that page, right, has to basically do the sales job. To do the sales job, it needs to answer the sales questions, address the objections, add the support evidence. So the shift in digital the last 25 years is that information needs have moved from the sales funnel up into the marketing funnel. So the job of this page is to emulate a sales conversation. That's the short. I should have just said that first. Your homepage and your top service pages need to emulate a sales conversation with you or with a top rep, which means it needs to have gaps in it. So all I had to do is give it my persona and copy and paste in a web page, and it tells me it lacks detailed technical specs. That page lacks testimonials, success metrics. That page doesn't touch on launch frequency, scheduling, or availability. Remember, I taught it enough about my audience. They can audit these. So AI-powered, persona-driven gap analysis on your key pages. There may be visitors on your page right now who are just unhappy that you didn't answer their question, and then hit the back button. So that is an example of where everybody, I think, can get value, regardless of the traffic source, even if you have no content marketing plan at all, because all of us just make your site a better mousetrap by validating it briefly with this. So that's what I love. AI-powered gap analysis. The prompts, here's another prompt. You're a conversion optimization expert. Write an outline for a big rewrite to this page that it finally addresses that persona's unmet information needs. Show subheads, show the key points. It comes back and it's got a good idea for how to make that a better page, right? Like that can make a big difference, Marilyn, and I love that for all of us. That's I've got other ones in here too. We'll share the deck. This is a very detailed. You're a conversion optimization expert. That means you know how to turn visitors into leads. Skilled at evaluating pages and their ability to inform and persuade. The best pages share these traits: clear header, copy answers questions, the messages are aligned with their prioritized needs, the copy uses supportive evidence, and it basically just comes back and tells you, like, to what extent did you check those boxes? It'll tell you what you missed. So that's one where I think it's almost like a universal business growth turbo conversion optimization hack. I almost want to say, or tactic. I hope that one's helpful. You can see unmet information needs. Didn't talk about cost effectiveness or technology capabilities. Lacks testimonials, logos, clients, case studies, supportive evidence. Vague subheads. This is very clever. It suggested changing our technology to proven launch technology backed by decades of success. Can we argue against? I mean, that's solid. I can't poke holes in that at all. That's definitely a better subhead. So very rare for people to do this. Very difficult to do without AI. Most people are not conversion optimization experts. It'd be hard for most people to kind of write that big prompt, that fancy prompt I did here. But anybody can. But I mean, after this session, even right now, just take a screenshot of that prompt. You can upload the screenshot; it'll transcribe it for you, or just it'll read. It can read images if you're using ChatGPT Plus. But that one I think is could actually directly impact business growth for everyone immediately. The job of these pages is to answer questions and address objections. Your information needs, add supportive evidence to support those assertions. Testimonials, case studies, years in business, reviews, everything, and then clear, specific, compelling call to action. How does that one strike you, Marilyn, Tara, anyone? Is that
we're still here, and I'm sitting here with my mouth wide open at all of this. I know I've gotten a couple emails and text messages. Everybody's just writing down, because I said, hey, anybody have any more questions? And everybody's like, I'm just writing it down, because this is going into so much detail that we don't have access to. What you're saying makes a whole bunch of sense, to the point where I'm thinking about how do we redo some of our content to make sure that it is perfectly aligned and that it makes sense as far as the best practices, things you talk about, because I know how you are about web content on websites and just making sure that everything is aligned. And this it's just amazing. To me, AI is the cheapest assistant you could ever have.
Okay, I had to come off of mute for this. Like, Andy, I'm sitting over here just same with Marilyn. Amazing, absolutely amazing, and you just gave me so much homework. I hope you're happy.
Well, and what I think, I'm glad if this is helpful, and I appreciate that feedback. And I think hopefully what we're getting from this is that this is an assistant. It's another input, and it might be useful. But I am not at all trying to downplay the institutional knowledge or your strategic thinking or your deep expertise on this buyer or your prospect, or and that we're doing here is just something to try, look at, get an idea from, and then move, and then close the tab and go get to work. It's not there's so much hype, right? People look at this tool and they say, oh, great, it'll do all this stuff for me automatically, button, my job is done. Really? And then they also, the panic is overblown. Oh, I think it's going to replace my job with just touch the button and they don't need me anymore. No, really, AI is a giant statistical database of probability predicting the next chunk of language, and it's got so much information in it that it turns to be it feels like magic. It's so good on so many topics. It has so much information. Of course it does. It read the whole internet, right? But that it's still that's all it is. It's just generating the next chunk of language. It's predicting what the next sentence should be and building that out as a thing. And it's so cool in that way. But you are the one that knows your audience, your brand. You can decide whether that was useful to you or not. I really think that should be heartening, and that we should still trust ourselves. And in that example, what I just did, it's like, oh, this prompt in front of us here, this is all best advice. I'm training it on how to look at something. You have your own best practices. Here, I'll give you another example. So let's say you've written 500 proposals or 1,000 social media posts, or whatever it is. Take your best practices and turn that into a prompt. If you have something you wanted to look at, that you can use that, make it an audit prompt, and it'll then identify gaps. Take your own best practices and make it a creation prompt. Make me a draft of this thing. A good content mission statement includes the target audience, the information, and the benefit to the reader. Everything that I did, I was sort of my own criteria, my version of what good is, and then I can ask it to do a thing or make a thing. Here's a quick one. I had to present at this e-commerce conference. We've done e-commerce for 24 years, but I don't do it every day. So I reached out to my friend, Justin, and And I said, Justin, do you have any tips for making product detail pages? He said, sure. Hey, here's my 150-page deck on how to make great product detail pages. Wow, Justin, this is awesome.
Wow.
So my next step is to manually go through all that content and create a list of Justin's brain, Justin's best practices. And I turned it into a prompt. You can see it on your screen. This is an e-commerce product detail page audit.
Wow.
You're an e-commerce expert. You're skilled in converting visitors. You know product copy, user experience, trust, conversion. Here's a 15-point checklist. See, I give it my best practices, or Justin's in this case. The product copy is descriptive. It's on benefits. It uses personal pronouns. It shows guarantees. The image quality, ratings and reviews. So these are his best practices. And then I can either put a page and say, provide a detailed audit, or I can give it a bunch of product information and say, create me a draft of a page. And it will. So we have to really work with it. We have to train it. And it's very good. And it's fortunate for each of us that it's not so good it can replace us with 6 words. I mean, I don't want a tool that can do everything I can do, but it's by typing in a tiny little message, right? Add value. Keep it honest. Trust yourself. And never expect it to do things that are human-only tasks, like taking a stand, coming out for something, your beliefs. Each of us have beliefs. Something is wrong with your industry. It can't. There are no prompts that can do that. That replace your voice. Yeah.
Andy, everything you're saying, I keep saying this is amazing, because as a solopreneur, you don't think these tools are available to you. And the amount of time it takes as a solopreneur, you're trying to figure out, how do I make that happen? So understanding, one, that you can make your own prompts. And I think a lot of people are nervous about creating prompts. So thank you for giving us the examples of how prompts are created. I know we have a question about how we can differentiate, how we can use these tools to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. Can you just speak to that just a little bit? But I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to have something to do with personas and prompts.
Yeah, let me find that. Actually, I have it in a different deck, so bear with me just for a moment while I find. I love the question. I had taken it out of here.
Don't take anything out. We want everything.
Oh, there's too much.
All the good stuff. He has a better. Oh, I see what you did, Andy.
I have a longer deck that's too long. We'll share everything, of course. We'll share everything. This one has the competitive analysis review. AI-powered competitive analysis. Okay, and then when we can wrap on this, or I can show the images thing in a minute if you like, but we're winding down. This is, okay, so I'm going to do this in a way that allows me to upload an image. I use a Chrome extension in my browser called Go Full Page, and Go Full Page makes a full page screenshot. So I'm taking a full page screenshot to do this. A minute ago, you saw me copy and paste the page. Sometimes I'm thinking you wanted to look at the page, like to see if there's client logos or, to see what's in the pictures. You need to use a screenshot tool, awesome screenshot, and Go Full Page. So here I'm going to use Go Full Page. I gave it my page. How did I do it? I gave it my page and giving it a competitor's page. And the prompt basically, after I've uploaded, which page is more likely to be helpful and informative to the persona? Create a matrix comparing the two, show your thinking. Wow. Oh, actually, this one I just copied and pasted the text. Either way, the response says, let's compare the 2 pages in terms of how they align with, in this one it made my persona Emily, their information needs as described in the persona. We will create a matrix to illustrate the alignment of each page with my persona's decision criteria. This chart is kind of magical. This is my persona's prioritized information needs. That's useful. This is the extent. This just did yes or no, but did I address that person's information needs? Did my competitor address that person's information needs? So even it just read the pages and said, wow. I talked about security, they didn't. They talked about the environment, I didn't. And no one talked about insurance and risk management. I did this with my own site. giving it a bunch of 4 websites, create a heat map matrix showing color to show the degree to which each of these 4 pages satisfies the persona's information needs. Isn't that interesting? This is me, we do web development. Yeah.
I just feel like I'm sitting here with my eyes wide open, like, wow, this is crazy. This is unbelievable. So here's the next thing, asking for a friend. When you are using ChatGPT or Google Gemini or whoever you use, is there a way that people can figure out that you've used those tools?
AI is not universities are making a mistake right now by investing in technology to detect AI generated, research, because AI is not detectable unless you're using lazy prompting, because the lazy prompt, it'll use a lot of AI typical language. But if you prompted, you saw how I trained it on my content, I trained it on my audience.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not really using it to write anyway. I'd rather write something that's highly differentiated and based on my personal experience and connects on emotional levels. But no, I don't think that there is such a thing as detectability. Having said that, I'll show you something that I do in ChatGPT, if it loads, and then we'll have to.
We have to go. Oh no.
Yeah. Okay. So this is me. Oh, look, they just changed it. Where is the settings? Here they are. So if I go to settings, I gave it some personalized stuff, some custom instructions. My custom instructions were, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? Avoid these words because they sound like AI. Yeah. Unlock the secrets and unleash the power. I'm so tired of seeing it tell me to unlock the secrets. I would never write unlock the secrets. Uncover furthermore, gone are the days. Please. It just sounds like this is all AI typical language that I put into my ChatGPT as a custom instruction in the settings to have it stop talking about further, hitherto and in the digital landscape and, in the midst and in pray. I mean, these aren't things that I'd ever write. So you can, and even though I tried that, it still somehow uses them occasionally. But under settings, personalization, custom instructions, you can put in a bunch of avoid words, and that might help.
All right, so Andy, I know we're at time. You teased me about images. Is there a quick something on images?
Yeah, let's do it. No. Let's do it. I think it's so fun. So this is part of
the bonus.
Yeah, bonus. I call this bonus. But again, these feel like long shot prompts. DALL-E is OpenAI's image generator. There's several others. They're all kind of the same. I'm trying to stay agnostic here. Use whatever tool you like. Use Gemini, use Claude, use ChatGPT. I'm not advocating for a technology, a flavor per se. So here's a prompt for DALL-E. Faces of a small, diverse group of satellite operators in control during launch. Vivid, right?
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I didn't know it would be that angle. You can't really art direct it, but it comes up with something. But can we punch it up? I want them to be excited. Now they're excited. It was a successful launch.
Okay, that's a little too excited.
Right? Yeah. No. I'm not done yet.
The exact same smile.
Sarah, we're going. I know. We're going all the way. They're thrilled that the rocket launch was successful. Isn't that hilarious? Like you could just kind of keep and look. It's still chat, right?
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same face.
Yeah, I didn't. My instructions are just iterating. I didn't have to. It's not like Google where you have to kind of keep repeating the query. It already knows I'm asking for satellite operators. So they're celebrating the most successful rocket launch of all time. Okay, we've got a rocket launch in the background. They're opening champagne.
There's a rave in the background.
Yeah, some confetti.
The happiest rocket launch party ever, filled with ecstatic satellite operators. The rocket launch was totally awesome. I mean, like super rad. So play around with it. I lost, but I like diversity. What happened to that? So let's get that back in, make it more diverse. And it just puts like weirdly hats on these
Weird
people.
hats.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The rocket's taking off inside the control room. It's got like countries that don't exist. People are getting blown back. Look how close they are. Like, that's not safe. There's a ceiling of like, it's all a bit absurd. But yeah, that's all I'm doing is I'm in DALL-E and putting in prompts and just seeing what I get. It feels very experimental. You can try. I mean, go ahead and try, but I think it's best for things like social media assets and lower stakes things. It can't make diagrams. It can't make. It can't make. I showed a chart, but it can't make any like specific things like screenshots. If you ask it for areas, like it can't do. Here accuracy is a major problem. Just use it for fun.
Wow.
Okay, that was worth the wait.
So I have one last joke about AI generated images. I went to a conference and these ladies were saying how you could take one image of yourself and upload it, and then AI would generate multiple images of you in different outfits. AI, when we talked about bias, AI does not like short haired Black women because it turned me into a man several times. It even gave me a 5 o'clock shadow. So all that said, you can't use it for everybody. Just know some things make sense. Yeah, not everything.
My LinkedIn profile picture is AI generated, and it's from a tool called Secta.ai, weird name. But to use that tool, which is I think $50, it wants you to give it like 50 pictures of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of training data you need is often much more than you would have thought.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Marilyn, if you tried that and you gave it tons of pictures of you, I think you might get.
I would look like Lenny Kravitz. He's good, but it did not like short hair. I was like, all right, my little afro.
Yeah.
Was not,
you know what? Actually, if you can either give it tons of pictures of you, or you could take the one picture and put it on a stupid profile. Be done with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Take a selfie and keep it moving.
I know. Yeah, it was an experiment. I did it partly for fun, but that's my LinkedIn profile. Everyone's welcome to connect with me there. There's a follow button, but you can skip that if you can find the dots and click to connect. But this was great. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Tara, so cool to meet. Marilyn.
This was so amazing. Did I hear you say that we could send part of the presentation out?
All of it. Yeah. Anything I have. Yeah. Anything that if you're missing anything, it's all. I mean, it's yours. Think of it as yours.
Absolutely.
So everybody.
So anybody that wants a copy of the deck, go ahead and basically re-register for the session. Can we put that link back up on the screen or in the comments? And that way we will send it out when we send out the replay.
And so for everyone who joined us today, now do you understand why I waited until all the people finished asking their questions and nicely walked up to the podium 15 years ago to befriend Andy? He's not only just a wonderful person, just a great friend, and he's always been so helpful in sharing his information, stuff that as a solopreneur we would never get. And frankly, there are large corporations that pay for him to come and do these presentations, and they do some wonderful work. I don't know how many people on here are not solopreneurs, but please, he has a job too, y'all.
Yes, Orbit Media.
Yes,
absolutely. So connect with. I heard him say connect with him on LinkedIn. He has a book. Y'all buy his book. I have been a follower, Andy, of your newsletter and for SEO and for websites, content marketing for years, and has never steered me wrong. So if anyone's not on their mailing list, get on it today. Marilyn is constantly sending me stuff as if I'm not on the list.
Well, I do. I get these emails and I'm like, I send it to everybody and I keep telling people, you got to sign up. And they're like, well, I signed up. I said, well, read it again. So yeah.
Thank you.
I think somebody said we need a master class.
I love that we're still connected. Thank you both. Thank you all. I'll see you all online. Let's keep the conversation going. Okay. Take care.
Y'all. Thank you for hanging in there with us. I know we're a little bit over time, but we could not just cut that off where it is.
Yeah. I've been playing around in AI for a while, and I just learned a whole other way of looking at using AI to benefit me even more as a solopreneur. Like Andy started talking about the prompts, Tara, our personas, everything. How important is that? And you don't even think, and for everybody in the audience, you don't even realize how much information you have locked up here. That if you used it, put it in some format in AI, you could just generate a lot of relevant content. So please share this information. If you haven't registered, please register. We will share his presentation, and you all know that presentation is worth its weight in gold. And also, link with us. We are always willing to have more people in our community. We are doing some great things coming up. Stay connected with us and share it, Tara.
Absolutely. We have a podcast. So anywhere that you listen to podcasts, follow us on the Solo CEOs podcast.
Yeah, Tara uses a lot of bad words.
I do. I really do. My mama shouldn't listen to that. So I use a lot of bad words. But follow our podcast. We have other guru talks that are on the website. Like Marilyn said, we got some stuff coming up. So don't stay too far away from us. And just stay connected to our community. We bring you stuff like this. So with that, we're going to let you get back to work because now y'all got to work on your competitive analysis, put the prompts together. I have a whole homework list, and I know you do too. So we will see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.